Welcome to Chalice Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We are a community of diverse beliefs and experiences, nurturing the liberal religious spirit and united by our desire to grow in love and in service. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your life's journey, you are welcome here. Whether you gather with us every Sunday, once or twice a year, or are here this morning for the first time, we are glad you are here. I'm Reverend Sharon Wiley, the minister at Chalice. Our worship musician this morning is Justin Gray, and our song leaders are Maria Pia Duffy-Foltz, Jennifer Savion, and Tom Karlstrom. Welcome to this online worship service. If you are new to online worship, let me give you a quick orientation to the chat box here in Zoom. This is how we talk to each other during the service. You'll see people have been greeting each other this morning. So you have it's probably popped up for you, but you have a button on your Zoom menu that says chat. So if you want to close the chat and make that box go away, you can click on that button and that should bring it back down. And of course, if it's closed and you want it open, click on chat again and that opens it up. Some congregants love chat and like to use it during the service. Other folks don't want to see the chat and want that to go away. So that's up to you how you participate and whether your chat box is open or closed. For those of you who do like to use the chat, please be sure to use that little menu and drop it down to select panelists and attendees. It's an easy mistake to make. My first post this morning was just to panelists, which meant that nobody saw it. I'm the only panelist, so you want to post to everybody. Make sure to use that. So this is me on Sunday morning, greeting you as you arrive. Good morning. If we were in person, I would give you a hug if that would be welcome to you. Wherever you are, if you want to give yourself a hug, and if there's someone you share space with, maybe consider giving them a hug too. Now, I want to especially welcome those of you who are newcomers at Chalice. In addition to this online worship, I want you to know that many of our groups and activities continue to happen online as well. Activities like our women's book club, men's breakfast group, support groups, religious education for children, all of these and more are happening online. You don't have to be a church member to participate in our groups and activities. They're open to everyone. So if you're new to Chalice, would like to learn more, would like to get on our email list, you're invited to stay in the Zoom after the service to do some Q&A using that chat box. So let's go ahead and take a breath together. We begin our service by acknowledging that wherever each of us is watching, if we are in what is now called the United States, then we are on land stolen from indigenous peoples. Our congregational home in what is now called Escondido is on land that is part of the traditional territories of the 12 bands of the Kumeyaay Nation and the 7 bands of the Payom Kuchum, also called the Luiseño. Land that is sacred to us now was stolen from people for whom that land was also sacred. As we continue our work as a community of shared faith, may we strive to build relationships with Kumeyaay and Payom Kuchum peoples, and may we learn to give back in abundance. This morning is bittersweet for several reasons. First, Rosh Hashanah began Friday evening and concludes at sunset today, Lashana Tova. And this was the year I was finally going to remember to ask the refreshments team to have apples and honey for us on Sunday morning. Dipping apple slices in honey is a Rosh Hashanah tradition, symbolizing the hope for a sweet year. So next year, friends, I hope. And if you happen to have apples and honey in your home today, consider having some apple slices dipped in honey and celebrate Rosh Hashanah yourselves in your home. Also, today is the Sunday closest to fall equinox. Happy Mabon to our pagans. And it is our custom to celebrate the UU water ritual this day. Water ritual, also called water communion, often marks the resumption of regular church programs after a summer break. Here at Chalice, our water ritual coincides with the fall equinox and marks the changing seasons. Water ritual is not something we can share together in an online service, not the way we do in the chapel together. But I do have an invitation for you near the end of the service. Our opening words come from Unitarian Universalist minister Jane Malden. For our community gathered here, for the spirit that called us together and drew us to a shared place, we give thanks this day. For moments we have shared with others, for times when we have reached out across barriers of distance and fear, for times when others have reached out to us, for moments when we have discovered another along our path, we give thanks this day. For this community of celebration and growth, introspection and solitude, and for those moments of that peace which passes all understanding, we give thanks this day. For our gathering together out of distant places, for our weaving together out of many separate selves, this hour of celebration and worship, we give thanks this day. You are invited to join in singing.
Grace.
Our Sunday worship is the shared spiritual practice of our community, and we tend to the congregation during this time by honoring our joys and sorrows. And in these difficult times, I'll add worries to that list. If you would like to share a joy, a sorrow, a worry with each other this morning, now is the time for sharing in the chat box. If you would like to send me a confidential note about your joy or sorrow, please email me, and I'll put my email in the my email address in the chat box. Our story is called Water Dance by Thomas Locker. Some people say that I am one thing. Others say that I am many. Ever since the world began, I have been moving in an endless circle. Sometimes I fall from the sky. I am the rain. Sometimes I cascade. I tumble down, 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 over the moss-covered rocks, through the forest shadows. I am the mountain stream. At the foot of the mountains, I leap from a stone cliff, spiraling, plunging. I am the waterfall. In the shadows of the mountain, I am still and deep. I fill and overflow. I am the lake. I wind through broad golden valleys, joined by streams, joined by creeks. I grow ever wider, broader, and deeper. I am the river. I pass through the gateway of high stone palisades, leaving the land behind. Cool silver moonlight sparkles and dances on my waves. I am the sea. Drawn upward by warm sunlight, in white silver veils I rise into the air. I disappear. I am the mist. In thousands of shapes I reappear high above the earth in the blue sky. I float. I drift. I am the clouds. Carried by winds from distant seas, I move, growing heavier, growing darker, returning. I am the storm front. At the wall of the mountains, I rise up as gleaming, power-filled towers in the darkened sky. I am the thunderhead. I blind the sky with lightning. The earth trembles with my thunder. I rage. I drench the mountainside. I am the storm. Storms come, storms pass. I am countless drops of rain left floating in the silent air. I reflect all the colors of sunlight. I am the rainbow. I am one thing. I am many things. I am water. This is my dance through our world. As I mentioned at the start of the service, in many of our UU congregations, water ritual, also called water communion, often marks the resumption of regular church programs after a summer hiatus. It is often held on the first Sunday after Labor Day, and it's sometimes called homecoming, and it's sometimes called ingathering. The idea behind it really is that church attendance often drops during the summer, and ingathering is a calling in, a time when summer travel is over, the school year starts, and many people resume regular church attendance. Actually, it comes from an even older tradition of churches closing during the summer while congregants went to their summer homes and ministers took the summer off. A different time. To me, our church community is a year-round community, even if as attendance ebbs and flows sometimes. And so we haven't consistently had a service this time of year called homecoming or ingathering. But the thing is, for many people, their presence here on Sundays does ebb and flow with the vagaries of life. Even now, when for many people, church is the easiest to attend that it has ever been, it is still hard for everyone to get here. Why? Of course, because for many people, life right now is as hard as it has ever been. And when you're exhausted and overwhelmed and worried, even logging onto Zoom worship takes more energy than sleeping in or vegging in front of the TV. And worship can seem less important than resting after a full week, or something like taking your equally exhausted children for an outing of some kind after a week in front of screens. And yet, as true as all that is, true that sometimes people don't have the energy or focus that it takes to come worship together, it is also true that people miss worshiping when they don't come. I hear that so often from people, that they miss coming to church, or they've been meaning to come but can't quite get it together. I have come to think that for some of us, not all of us, but for some of us, worshiping together is like eating our vegetables or balancing the checkbook. Like maybe it's not something we yearn for, but something that feels really good and satisfying once we've done it. And I know that's not true for all of us. There are those of us for whom worship together is like eating. It's part of the rhythm of our lives, something necessary and nourishing and strengthening. And we don't feel well if we skip it. And then for some people, worship isn't something they miss at all. It doesn't seem to be what they want from this community, and so they connect in different ways. At its core, weekly worship is a spiritual practice. And like all spiritual practices, we might struggle to maintain the discipline of routine. But Sunday worship is also more than a spiritual practice. It's a communal spiritual practice. Shared worship is the central way of feeling connected to the community. Many of you will have had the experience of going on vacation or not making it for several Sundays. And I'm actually aware that there are some people here who have returned, what we call returned after an absence. So welcome back and good to see you. But then when you haven't come in a while, it starts to feel like you don't quite know what's going on, right? You read the emails, you read the newsletter, but you start to feel like people are talking and thinking about things that you're maybe not familiar with. And if it's been quite a while, you have a sense that you don't know people anymore. So the community feels very different. It's always such a strange challenge to talk about the benefits of Sunday worship, because those of you who are here are the people who made it this morning, right? Not the people who this message might be for or might touch in a different way. But what about the people we haven't seen, the people we miss? How do we encourage them? And how do we call them back in? And that's the meaning of Ingathering that I'd love for us to develop together. Let's have an annual Ingathering service that affirms that it is perfectly natural to drift away from community sometimes. But here at Chalice, we want to make sure you know that the door is always open and that you are always welcome to come back in whenever you are ready. Several years ago, one Sunday morning, I made butter tarts for the congregation. And so I'm thinking, like, let's make Ingathering Sunday when we're back together, butter tart Sunday, and whatever else is good and enticing and fun. And let's have it be a time for calling friends we miss or people who've been having a hard time to say, I know it's not easy to get to church on Sunday, but come with me. Let's go together. You could invite someone to attend on Zoom, and some of you are very good at doing that, and then meet them for a Zoom breakfast or coffee afterward, just like hanging out in the courtyard. Or you could invite a friend to watch the recording of a service that touched you, or tell them how to fast forward to the music piece you loved so much, and then have a phone call afterwards to talk about it together. Sunday worship is about connection, whether it's happening on Zoom or in a chapel or even watching on YouTube video later on. This time together is not a TV show, not something to be consumed for entertainment. This time together is the shared spiritual practice of our community. And it's one of many ways we connect together. And it's one of the important ways that we connect with each other. As the pandemic goes on, and we have months ahead of us, we have to continue to work to reach out to one another, to stay connected, to support each other. 6 months in, we have new routines now, but remember to step back and think of things, look at things with fresh eyes from time to time. Who are you missing? Who have you fallen out of touch with? Who are you worried about? Phone calls, cards, notes to say, I'm thinking of you. Let's cultivate in ourselves a commitment to ingathering, a spirit of ingathering, not just one Sunday a year, but all year long. Let's be ingatherers. When I was a kid, here's a wonderful religious metaphor. When I was a kid, we played a game called The Blob, based on the horror movie where a big blob subsumes everything it runs into. Did you play this game in the schoolyard? The game was that you ran around trying to catch people. And when you caught someone, then they had to hold your hand. And then the two of you ran around. And when you caught someone else, then they held hands with you or with the person on the other side of you. So you were all holding hands, running around, and you caught more and more people until you were all holding hands and you were all part of the same long hand-holding blob. So this may be the least elegant metaphor I've ever used, but let's be the blob. Let's run around catching people, bringing them into our interdependent web of love and joy and justice seeking. May it be so. You are invited again to sing together. The Sunday offering is an expression of the generosity that makes our congregational life possible. Today is a social justice Sunday when we donate our offering to a local organization that makes a difference in our larger community. This Sunday, we are taking a special collection for California Indian Legal Services.
Hi, my name is Mark Vizzola. I'm the directing attorney at California Indian Legal Services Escondido office. I just wanted to make this message to address the Chalice Unitarian Universalist congregation here in Escondido to express our incredible gratitude for even considering making a donation to California Indian Legal Services. I wanted to tell you a little bit about our work. I I've been an attorney here for 11 years, but the organization has in fact been in existence for over 50 years. We were founded in the 1960s as part of the great wave of legal services offered to low-income people. We've been in business continually ever since. We serve primarily Native American individuals, but also tribes and tribal organizations. We recently, starting in 2015, formed a domestic violence unit that actually serves people from all backgrounds. We do not discriminate on the basis of race or income or any other factors. People who are in need of representation in cases that involve domestic violence, stalking, or sexual assault are all able to be served by California Indian Legal Services. In one such case, we were working with an out-of-state tribe that needed legal representation here in California. And we had a mother who had been living on the streets, homeless, suffering from drug addiction and mental illness, which made it very difficult for her tribe and even her family to help her. She did not know the name of the child's father, and very quickly lost her parental rights. It was hard to stop that because the court and the county agency wanted to make sure that the child was in a home where she would be cared for and also have some stability. The tribe I represented recognized that, but we also recognized the fact that under state and federal law, the preferences for that child's home were really in descending order: a member of that child's extended family, another member of that child's tribe, or another Native American home. Instead, the county was recommending adoption with the foster family, which was non-Native. The foster family did provide the child with a really good home for 2 years, but foster care is meant to be temporary, although sometimes it is not. Sometimes it becomes permanent. But I had to point out to the court that there was no good reason to deviate from the placement preferences that already exist for Indian children under federal and state law. The court happened to agree, and it required the county to reconsider an aunt who happened to live in Utah. That aunt had no criminal record. She wanted very much to reunify with her niece, and I'm proud to say that within a couple of weeks of this video, the aunt will be adopting the child and closing the dependency case for good. This is what the tribe wanted. This is what the auntie wanted. And I believe it's also what the child and her mother would have wanted. The child is in an Indian home with a family member. That home will represent not only a family connection, but also the cultural values of the child's tribe. So I'm very pleased about how that case went. I'm pleased about all of our work. We can't be everywhere or do everything for people who need us, but we do our best to be out there in the community. Some people might say, well, why do Native Americans need legal services when they're rich because of casinos? Well, not all Indian tribes have casinos, and even those that do don't always turn a profit. But it's important to remember that there are some problems that money just can't solve easily. Domestic violence, child welfare, drug abuse, and addiction being just some of them. So California Indian Legal Services continues to do our best to help tribes and individuals with all of those issues and many more. But we couldn't do this work without donations from generous people like you at the Chalice Unitarian Universalist congregation. So I just want to thank you again for even considering CILS for a donation. We are happy to just be considered, but most certainly to accept any donation you feel comfortable giving to our organization. And because we are neighbors here in Escondido, I hope this is the beginning of an ongoing relationship. We would be happy to come out and speak to you either in person or virtually to talk a little bit more about our services and what we do in the community. But I'll leave that up to you, and I just want to say thank you again for considering us for a donation. I wish you well. Bye-bye.
There are two ways to donate. You can make a donation directly to California Indian Legal Services. I'll put the link in the chat box. When you do this, you can be added to their email and mailing list so you can hear directly from them. Or if you prefer, and in particular if you don't want to be on their list, you can text your donation to Chalice and we will forward the donations. To indicate that your donation is for this special offering, please text your dollar amount and the word justice. This is a social justice collection. If instead your Sunday donation is meant to be part of your pledge payment, please be sure to indicate pledge after the dollar amount. I hope you will give generously. Please join in dedicating our offering with words of affirmation. Open hearts, open minds, open doors, nurturing spirits, seeking justice within the wider world. This is our mission. water ritual in our chapel would have each of us coming forward to pour individual cups of water into a shared bowl, a symbol of the joining of individuals into community. We can't enjoy our water ritual in that particular way this year. But this year, I invite you, if you are local to Escondido and able to get to our campus on Miller Avenue, to go to our Chalice campus within the next few weeks with some water from your home to pour onto the ground there, onto the earth. This afternoon, I will email out to the congregation some words that you might like to say as you pour your water. The words echo some of the words we say when new members join the congregation. Everyone is invited to participate. You don't need to be a member. And if you aren't able to get to Chalice, or if you live somewhere else, I still invite you to pour your water into the earth somewhere near your home, and still to say the words that I'll be sending out, to think of your Chalice community when you do that. I'll also post these words to our website blog so you can find them even if you aren't on our email list. Whether you are one of Chalice's founding members, someone who is visiting today for the first time, or someone watching this service on a recorded video after Sunday morning, you are part of this community, and you are held in the web of love that we have for each other. We give to each other, we receive from each other, and these blessings of mutuality strengthen us to endure these difficult times. May the blessings of water ritual be yours this year, just like any other. May it be so.
Strength of water takes on many forms, just as each of us has a unique and necessary strength that we bring to our community and the work of love. Take a moment now to drop down into the deep wellspring of your own spirit and bathe yourself in the strength that is the groundwater of your person. Are you a roaring fall wearing rock away with sheer force of will? Are you a small sliver of water in a crevice, breaking it open slowly and steadily? Are you buoyant, like a great salt lake, practiced at holding yourself or others aloft? Are you tenacious like the mountain stream, finding your way down and around and through every obstacle you face? Are you still and calm like the pond at daybreak, radiant peace found by your shores? Are you in touch with hidden depths, pulling from a vast well deep within? Do you soothe like the steam rising from a cup of tea? Do you dissolve away stubborn muck like dishwater? Do you soften and smooth the edges like a creeping fog? Do you clear away distraction like a cleansing rain. Do you roll with the ebb and flow, with the rhythm of the ocean waves? Settle your mind upon the strength, the power that is yours. Draw that strength into your heart, draw it up into your soul, and there find peace. As we endure difficult times together, we need each of our power, each of our resilience, each of our love to make us whole.
Our closing words are from Reverend Cynthia Landrum. We leave this gathered community, but we don't leave our connection. Our concerns, our care for each other, our service to each other, to the world, and to our faith continues. Until we are together again, friends, be strong, be well, be true, be loving. Blessed be. A quick reminder that our 20-year anniversary party on Zoom is this coming Saturday at 5 o'clock. And we're using Zoom meeting format, so you should be prepared to be visible and hopefully to be able to talk with one another. And so I'll send an email this week with some more details and reminders about that. But yeah, that should be a fun evening. You are invited to close our time together by singing the well. If you are new to the congregation, you are welcome to stay here in the worship for a newcomer chat using the chat box, and everyone is invited to coffee hour.